So as you can tell, I'm kind of a Snap-on fan. I've got a buddy of mine that owns a Snap-on route, so you can know who I spend my money with. But these are some of the items that we'll be covering in our videos, among other things. But we'll do a lot of stuff, you know, with the Zeus over here. I've got it hooked up to my TV screen so we can see better. And the thermal imager, if you guys haven't checked those out, man, those I wish were more readily available to me when I was still in the trenches full time. And the 5-gas analyzer, I've always had a gas analyzer when I did diagnostic work, and people just don't seem to have it anymore. Because they think since they don't do emissions, they don't need it. You know, I've always used it for diagnostics, and the price of those have come down so far, and they're portable, and you can hook them to the Zeus. And then we're going to cover the M2 meter. We've got a new DLC breakout box. It's electronic. It's looks a lot nicer than my old one that I have. Then I'm going to cover a couple of the meters I own. And then we've got the pass-through. This was pass-through 3, but still pretty much the same as the pass-through 4, just that one has a few more whistles. So anyway, I got an evap smoke machine I'd like to go over as well. But anyway, look for these videos. I'll probably make a video separate for each one of these. And they're coming your way. Thanks. Alright, so I'm going to show you some functions or features of the Zeus here that a lot of guys don't realize the tool can do, and how I have found them to be very helpful when I'm working on cars. And I'm hoping this camera's picking up that TV good, because I've got my Zeus hooked to the TV, and I'm hoping it's going to pick up. But one of the features that I love about the Zeus is the fact that it can split screen, and I can use the Windows software to its advantage, where I can, especially when I use a big monitor, where I can have several screens open at the same time. And the other part I like is, what I love about the Zeus is it has more information in it than any other tool I've ever used. That's basically in the tool. And so a lot of times I like to bring that information up while I have my scope going, or while I have my meter open. And I just want to show you how you can access it, because there's only really one way to be able to do some of these things. And I just want to make the guys that invest, you know, that kind of money in a tool like I have, that you get the most out of it. And I have found with the Zeus, or even a Verus Edge, it will do pretty much anything you want it to do. One of the things that I love about the guided component test menu is when I open that. Well, let me go back and let me just open up the demo here. Let me just open the demo. Let's see, let's do the Tahoe. So, let's say I've got an engine, check engine light code. So I'm going to go to the engine. We're going to pick codes, because I need to open the intelligent diagnostics for what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to open code menu. This is just part of the demo. But let's do this P0300 code. More parts of the demo. Oops. So when I'm in the intelligent diagnostics, one of the features I like is when I get to the guided component test meter, I can open that up, and every car that it covers has this ECM tab. So I can open the ECM tab. It tells me where it's located, but here's what I love, the pinouts. So I can open that up and it's going to give me how the connectors are numbered, and it's going to give me every pinout on the vehicle, or on the computer, I'm sorry. And this is so handy having right there on your tool. You know, the only thing that would make this better is if I could open up a meter or a scope right here. Well, you can. And so by using the Windows software, what I'm going to do is I've already kind of set it up to where I've grabbed the side of this screen and slid it over. And so once you do that, you can just hit that center icon there and it gives it half the screen. So at this point, what I need to do is just go to the home button. Then I need to go to the guided component test meter. And you got to be in the guided test. You can't be in the scope multimeter. It's got to be the guided. And then I'm just going to pick something random. Let's just, you know, I want a voltmeter, so let's go with a throttle position sensor because I know there's a voltage test for that. So I'm going to grab DC voltage test. Now all I'm doing is just trying to open the meter at this point. So when I hit view meter, the tool's going to set up like I'm trying to test this throttle position sensor. So what I want to do is just, you know, get rid of that part. So I'm going to go to this, you know, the tip is still live here. So if I hit the meter button, it gets rid of the tip. Then I go down to my adjustments here, and I don't want a 0 to 5 volt range, so I'm going to go to like 0 to 20 because I'm working on an ECM. And so at that point, my meter's open. It's in the graphing meter, 0 to 20 volts. And if I hit the meter tab one more time, it's going to put it in a separate window. And here I can move this thing, window around, take it with me. So I'm just going to minimize it at this point. It drops it down here on my taskbar. So I'm just going to hit the home button again. And from here, I'm going to open the scan tool, and it's right where I left off. And so at this point, I hit the middle icon here. It brings it to half screen. I open up my meter tab, and I'm going to slide it over right here next to it. So at this point now I've got my graphing meter opened, and I've got all the pinouts of the computer right here. And so at this point I can just do my pinout right there with all the connectors and all the wire specs right next to me while I have my meter. So being able to do stuff like this just has made life so much easier for me, and I'm not limited to 2 windows. You know, Windows software, I can open up as many windows as I want to when I'm using the tool. Especially if I get it into Google or something, I want to open other websites, or if I want to open up a calculator or whatever. Another feature I like is Shopkey, you know, because I use Shopkey for my information system. So if I just minimize my meter, I can go back over here to the scan tool, and then let's say I just back up to the intelligent diagnostics, and if you get to the bottom, there's the repair information. So since we're subscribed to Shopkey, I click on that, and it's going to open up Shopkey for me. And you notice it loads the car that I'm working on for me. Then I can just add the details here. So it thinks I'm still working on that P0300 code, which is kind of cool because not only does it load the car, but it will load whatever code you're working on in your intelligent diagnostics and take you right to it. But let's say I don't want to work on that code. Let's say I want a wiring diagram or something. You know, so let's say I get rid of this code, and it takes me back to the one search, and I want to jump into my wiring diagrams. Let's say I'm down here on engine performance, So let's say I wanted my wiring diagram opened with my meter. So at this point I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to shrink it down to one side of the screen. I'm going to open my meter back up. Here's my graphing meter. Now I've got the wiring diagram opened up with my meter or my scope or whatever part of the tool I want to use. Having features like this on one tool I just love. Years ago I used to always want my meter and scope separate from my scan tool, because on most tools you can only be in the scanner or the scope. And this was when I saw that I could split screen with this tool, I really fell in love with it. And I'm going to do a video on like living at the fuse box, where we'll have our scope and meter opened and we'll have our bidirectionals of our scan tool opened, and I'll activate the circuits that I want to check with my low amp clamp right there at the fuse box. That was a huge time saver for me. Made life a lot easier because you can check the circuit really quick without a lot coming apart, or nothing really coming apart. And those fuel injectors and those coil-on plugs that are buried under the plenum, you know, just grab the fuse and boom, you got all 6 of them or all 4 of them or whatever the case may be that quick. So if you got a Verus or a Zeus, take advantage of these features. I mean, these were the kind of features that really sold me on the Verus years ago. Being able to split screen and having my scanner and the scope running at the same time, or using the information that's in the tool or Shopkey alongside my meter. And there's a ton more cool stuff the tool can do. And when I'm out in the field seeing technicians helping them work on a car, even though they might have a Verus or a Zeus, they don't realize the tool can do a lot of this stuff that just makes life easier for you. It speeds you up as well. Anyway, hope you like this little input. I'm going to make some other short videos like this with some of the other features. So if you got any questions, let me know. I'm going to put my email in the description. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me or talk to me about anything, hit me up on that email. Plus, another thing that's nice about the Zeus, you can use TeamViewer. So a lot of times I can help guys in a different state. We'll jump on TeamViewer and I can take control of their Zeus, and I'll be able to see exactly what they're working on, because the tool also has a camera in it. So you can show me what's happening, and then I can actually see the scanner and the scope, and I can control it from my house, which is another real cool feature. Anywho, try to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to build it. I know there for a while I had some health problems with my shoulder and my hip, and I wasn't posting very often, but I'm back at it. So I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.